Creating inclusive policies and procedures is essential for ensuring fairness, dignity, and equal opportunity for all employees. However, Black and ethnically diverse individuals are often pushed to the margins of policy considerations, even within organizations that publicly commit to diversity. Too often, policies are written in a way that appears neutral but, in practice, fails to acknowledge or address the deep-rooted inequalities faced by racial and ethnic minority staff. True inclusivity requires intentional and specific action. It is not enough to rely on vague or generalized statements about diversity. Organizations must take deliberate steps to confront the systemic disadvantages that Black and ethnic people experience, including in recruitment, promotion, performance management, and disciplinary procedures. These systems have historically been shaped by unconscious bias and institutional practices that uphold white dominant norms. As a result, people from marginalized racial and ethnic backgrounds often find themselves underrepresented in leadership roles, over-scrutinized in disciplinary actions, and excluded from informal networks of power and influence. To develop policies that are truly inclusive, organizations must listen to and engage the very people who are most affected. Black and ethnic staff should have a seat at the table when policies are being created and reviewed. Their lived experiences provide essential insight into how workplace systems may unintentionally harm or exclude them. This process must go beyond consultation for appearance's sake, and instead form a meaningful partnership in policymaking. Inclusive procedures must also acknowledge the impact of structural racism. Policies that assume everyone starts from the same place fail to recognize how historical and ongoing discrimination affects access, progression, and treatment at work. For this reason, equity, not just equality, must be the goal. Equity recognizes that different people may need different levels of support or intervention to have the same opportunities to succeed. That might mean offering mentorship and sponsorship specifically for Black or ethnic staff, or creating clear, culturally competent mechanisms for reporting and responding to racism and discrimination. Organizations must hold themselves accountable by embedding transparency, monitoring, and consequences into their policies. It is not enough to simply write inclusive language on paper. There must be regular review, open reporting mechanisms, and senior leadership prepared to act decisively when discrimination is identified. Inclusion also means recognizing and respecting cultural and religious practices, such as dietary requirements, holidays, language use, and dress. When policies are built through a lens of cultural awareness, they signal that all backgrounds are truly welcome and respected. Ultimately, inclusive policies must be living documents, not static sets of rules, but evolving frameworks that reflect the real-world experiences of Black and ethnically diverse employees. This requires continuous dialogue, critical reflection, and the courage to change long-standing practices that no longer serve everyone fairly. When organizations center racial equity in their policymaking, they take a crucial step toward creating truly inclusive cultures where all individuals can thrive, contribute, and belong.